In an interview with ABC's Bill Weir, Kevin Trudeau calls you a whiner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, the main thing is he got the whole cult mentality. Is when people like me start exposing, talking out about gin and start asking questions, suddenly we're labeled as being a negative person because we're not following the procedure. And I'm a whiner and complainer. When I'm not really sitting here, even I don't think I've ever, even this whole interview, I haven't once stated that I'm not playing the victim mentality here. Right. I mean, I agree, it's my own fault that I spent the money, it's my own fault that I did this, it's nobody else's fault. I take full responsibility for that, and I learned from my mistake, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna just turn my other cheek and let them keep, you know, let them keep scamming other people. I feel I should do my duty as a human being to warn the population.
And now he's got the Global Information Network. How can these things continue?
Yeah, I mean, he's been exposed before in the past where, you know, John Strauss did in Special 2020, but I feel like the media has never had as much inside information as they have now because of myself and others that have personally been working with the media one-on-one. Like, I've given them, I don't know what kind of story that they would have without the information. I'm not saying all the information wasn't mine, obviously, but I gave them a lot of inside information about gin. I gave them access to a lot of the stuff. And I feel like, especially with this court documents coming out with the FTC, he's never before been exposed on such a personal level. I mean, it's before he's been exposed, it's kind of like, you know, John Strauss's story that he did, you know, there wasn't really too much facts. I mean, it was, you know, just kind of like, here's Kevin Trudeau. He didn't really, you know, say these are the facts, court documents prove what he's saying is lies. He just kind of made fun of him for saying what he says in the books. But this time it's like, there's no denying it now. What he's telling people is lies, and he's been exposed like this. I mean, he's never been exposed like this before because of the information that's out there now on either, you know, on my YouTube channel, on media now, that has the court documents and has his pretty much the information that proves that he's just lying. So it's never been exposed like that before, and I feel like it's really coming to an end soon. I mean, he should be shut down very, very soon, maybe this month. I mean, the judge is supposed to make a ruling last week, but, you know, it keeps saying continued because, you know, when you have money, I guess you just continue as long as possible. But supposedly he's going to make another ruling on 26th of June or July. So hopefully this is coming to an end very soon.
Well, why does Kevin Trudeau continue to have followers and people hang on his every word?
Yeah, I mean, I've come to a realization now, and like I said, when I was under the kind of the trance, I guess you call it, when I was Rugen GIN, and I was believing everything Kevin, I was holding on to everything he said as pretty much as the gospel, basically, is, you know, there comes a point where the more, like, that's the thing, where he's always trying to get you to spend more money, because I think he took like a course in brainwashing, and he knows just what to do. And
charismatic.
Yeah, I mean, when you spend money on something, and the more money you spend, you get a lot more tied into it. And like, there's people in that club where they spend so much money, and they're so brainwashed because of what they said that they mentally can't take the fact that it's a scam and that what he's saying is lies. I mean, that's like telling a devoted Christian that there is no God. And they're saying that's like the example of, you know, oh, Jesus is never real. They couldn't mentally, even though like you show like scientific evidence or whatever of there being just proving them wrong or something, they couldn't mentally take it, like mentally. So they're just going to either go to the poorhouse, follow him to the poorhouse, or just follow him to the depths, basically, because he's going straight to the depths, in my opinion. And it's not looking good for Kevin Trudeau. I mean, they subpoenaed pretty much everybody he's done business with in the past, and now nobody's going to want to do business with him in the future. I mean, GIN's bank account was in a bank account called a bank tree. The bank tree account is based out of New York, I believe. They recently shut their account with GIN because they said that they can't afford to have Kevin Trudeau as one of their clients because he's such a controversial person. I mean, this is a major bank telling him, we're going to have to shut your account down because of your name. I mean, that's so.
Wow.
I mean, this just happened recently. So I mean, this is it's just showing you what kind of future it has for Kevin Trudeau. It's not looking good, and pretty much anybody who still follows him to this day, I know where they're coming from, but they have to understand. You know, it comes to a point where you have to cut the bleeding off and take the pain. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep getting worse. You know, I mean, you know, realize that what he said is lies.
Abe, what lies ahead for GIN?
For GIN, I'm surprised honestly it's still going right now, because the documents even prove that GIN has lost over 70% of its members. I mean, it started out at its peak, it had 22,000 members, according to Kevin Trudeau himself, and now, according to the CFO of GIN, Michael Dow, in his own testimony, he said that GIN has 8,000 members. This was actually 2 months ago, before this ABC story aired, and before, you know, the other things going on. And now I have, from the sources I have, they're telling me now that GIN's down to less than 5,000 members. So I mean, GIN can't go on. I mean, the whole, you know, they can't go on much longer with these kind of numbers. I mean, with companies losing 70% of its you know, clients, it's not going to go on too much longer. And with the amount of exposure that's out there now, is if somebody approaches somebody with a decent head on their shoulders and some logic to them and says, hey, join this global information network, they're going to do some research first before they just cough over $1,000, and they're going to go to Google or YouTube or whatever and type in, I mean, you would think, for the person that has a head on their shoulders would do this, type in global information network or whatever, and Kevin Trudeau, and they're going to just see all the massive research and exposure that's been going on that proves that it's all a Ponzi scheme, and they're not going to join. So I mean, the future, there is no future really. The platinum is like, the platinum level is, in my opinion, what is how you can tell if a company is growing, because platinum, the level that it's at is the same level as different MLMs. It's a level where you know if a company's growing if they have the more platinums there are. Or there, other companies call them like diamonds or something like that. But the level it's at is the same affiliate level of the MLM structure. But there hasn't been a new platinum in over 7 months. That over the last 7 months. I mean, that's more evidence that GIN is not growing.
How do you know this?
No, because they send out the called GIN report every month.
You're still a member?
No, I'm not still a member at all. But I have access. People. Yeah, people send me this stuff all the time. You know, I have inside information from GIN. People send me this stuff that, because they just, I don't ask for it anymore. They just send it to me because they're so fed up with lies. They're trying to get their own justice, and they know that, you know, I've been exposing so long now that I have I'm more of a reach than a lot of people would have. So they just send the information to me, and I get it out to the masses. And so that's just, the evidence just clearly shows it's going to completely collapse, even without the government doing anything. But I believe what's going to happen is the FTC is going to finally swoop in. Once they finally, I don't know what's going on with the FTC and the judge. I mean, I have massive respect for what they're doing, but I just don't know why it's taking so long. I mean, but you know, this is the legal system. I guess is how it is. But once there comes a point where you can't go any more continuances, there comes a point where you're going to make a decision. And I believe what's going to happen is the FTC is going to find him guilty, because there's no other way around it. Neither they're going to take the money by force, basically, because they know his remaining money is hidden in GIN, and they're going to take it over by force, like they have several companies before. This is not like just some random thing, and GIN's going to get their assets frozen by the government, and they're going to take their money, and then there's just not going to be any way for it to keep going. That's what my opinion is going to happen. So we should see that happen very soon.
Do you think Kevin will go to jail?
I don't think he'll go to jail. I mean, because the government, why would they send him to jail if they can't get their money? I mean, they said they're going to, I don't think they're going to jail. I mean, I really don't, going to jail, you know, I wouldn't really wish that on anybody unless they're like a, you know, serial rapist or something, but like, that doesn't really do any justice, really, going to jail. Well, it'd be justice if they get the money and then they give it to the people that were wronged by his book, and then they get the money that were wronged by GIN. That would be true justice.